Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Michel, Transit Guru. I'm back with the video. I know I haven't put out a video in a very long time, but I'm back to do a video. Before I get started, like, comment, share, subscribe. I love comments to just talk with other like-minded people um, about what I like to do, transportation. Um, Before I get started with this video, why did I want to do this video? Um, I like more than just transit. I like pretty much all facets of transportation. Have been working in the transportation industry for the last 10 years on the dispatch side of it. So I deal a lot with the interstate system and trying to route people the best possible way. And a gap in the interstate that I feel that can be filled up with the already existing interstate is extending I-45 from the Dallas Fort Worth area to the Front Range, which are Denver, Colorado Springs, and Pueblo. I feel like that would be like it will help fill in the interstate system. It will give a lot of spaces in the country. This big portion of Texas that has no interstate. Oh wow, this big portion of Texas right here with no interstate, it'll give them a highway, connect I-44, connect I-27, gives the Oklahoma Panhandle a highway, Southwest Kansas a highway, and the Plains and Colorado Springs a highway as well. I feel like this will also be similar to what I-22 was built to do over in Alabama. This is I-22 from Memphis to Birmingham. It actually gives a indirect connection from Memphis to Birmingham to Atlanta and to the Savannah port. Even though Memphis has a direct connection down to New Orleans, it gives it a second indirect connection to Atlanta and to the port of Savannah. FedEx is located in Memphis, and so they need to be able to import and export. And that's why I-22 was built as an indirect connection to Atlanta. I feel like the same can be said for the city of Denver. Denver really has no indirect connections to anything. It has a very long connection, which this would be a very long connection as well, but it has a very long connection to Chicago, looks like, and I think 25 does go all the way up to Canada. But I feel like getting down to Houston is very important. And if we can do an interstate from the Front Range at about Colorado Springs, because I don't think we really need to extend it all the way up, even or we could even extend it to 70. I didn't even think about that. This is 70 right here. Um, but I thought adding the second highway to Colorado Springs to release some congestion in that city as well, and to have them a little bit better highway access to 70 as well, because 70 is weird. um, so, and then this gives Colorado Springs and Denver a direct connection to some major southern cities as well. So, let's get started. Let's start down here in Dallas. I'm gonna start where 45 ends in Dallas. Let's try to get this straight. Sometimes I hate Google Earth because it just doesn't want to do right. So, 45 currently connects Galveston, Houston, and Dallas. It's the shortest of the interstates that end with a five. It's the only interstate that ends with a five that is a single state interstate. It's only in the state of Texas. Before I even moved to Houston last year, I thought 45 went all the way up to Canada. I didn't think there were any Indian five that did not go all the way, all the way north to at least the northern state. But I found out that 45 does. I knew 85 didn't because I lived in Atlanta, but 85, does a Piedmont Atlantic, so that makes sense for 85. But I thought 45 was an even worse contender because it literally goes through three major cities, and that is it. Galveston, which is down here. This is massiveness of Houston. So it goes through Galveston down here, then through city, through central Houston, through the city of Central Houston, and then there's really nothing. This is the end of the Houston suburbs up in Huntsville. There's nothing, nothing, nothing. This is all forest, all forest. Bypasses Corsicana, bypasses Ennis, then you get into Dallas, and it ends in downtown Dallas. It doesn't even, which I didn't even realize, and then when I found out it didn't go past downtown Dallas, it doesn't even connect with 35. Crazy, crazy, crazy. They did 45 dirty when they created this interstate. Um, but what I'm here today to do is to actually extend it from Dallas into the Panhandle of Texas. So let's get started. Let's do a new line on Google Earth. You know, I love me some Google Earth. And we're going to name it, it's right here, the I-45 extension, EXTENSION. Let's go ahead and style and color it. Let's do this yellow that they're working with. Let's change it to that. Okay. And let's make it a little bit smaller at 4.5. So let's move that off the screen. It's still there. So 45 ends. This 345 doesn't even exist. Actually on the road. This is a US 75. The road that continues at 45 is this US 75. I was thinking about using this, but this goes the wrong way for me. So what we're going to do is go back to downtown Dallas. 45 ends right here. So what we're going to do from 45 going north, we're going to actually multiplex it with I-30 through southern. I don't know what part of downtown Dallas this is, but around downtown Dallas, it's going to hit where 35E and 30 hits. This 35E is actually going to have to change. This is going to have to become a 3-digit interstate. And it's going to be a spur route, so it's going to start with an odd number. I was thinking like 335, 735 would be cute. We're going to do 735. So this 35E section from downtown Dallas all the way to where it meets back up with 35, that'll be I-735. Since Dallas is the bigger city in DFW, they also get 735. So, but this is going to be 45. So this is 45 right here. Coming up, coming up, coming up. And then it's going to turn onto 30, south of downtown Dallas, wrap around, and then it's going to follow 35 East course all the way through Dallas. I hate when that happens. All the way through Dallas. So we're following the course. And we're just not going to have a 35E anymore. It's now going to be 45 goes through Dallas, 35 goes through Fort Worth, which makes so much sense. And another thing that's going to have to change is this loop around Dallas. It will not be 635 anymore because it doesn't connect with the parent 35 no more. So it'll have to become 645 now, which would be so cute on the news. They're talking about, 645 and 645 is already backed up. So yeah, so the Dallas loop will have to become 645 instead of 635, and the southern portion of 35E from downtown Dallas to where it meets back up just north of Waco will have to become 735. So we are going to follow 35E all the way. We're now at Louisville Lake, across the lake in Corinth. I don't know anything about this part of Dallas the Metroplex, so we're just following. Now we're in Denton. This is when we meet back up with 35. And remember, this 35 West is going to just be 35 now. So 45 is going to meet, and it's going to multiplex with 35 for a couple of miles, I think. I'm not sure, but it's gonna share this exit at 380, and then and this is probably an exit right here too, but I don't know. I can't see the name of that road, and I don't feel like zooming in. But at this point, where 288, Texas 288 ends, 45 is going to do a sharp turn to the west and turn off. It's going to leave the multiplex with 35. 35 will continue north on up to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and eventually Duluth. But 45 is going to head northwest. So let's zoom in at this point. I like to be real meticulous when I'm still in a major metro area, even though we're kind of at the end of the metro area. So we're going to kind of bypass the city of Crum. So try to bypass the houses. It's going to be, they'll actually have to do studies on what's the proper way to bypass everything. But yeah. So we're going to go through here. This is now the new routing of 45. And 45 is going to take a more northwesterly turn. And it's going to be similar to what 85 does in Southeast USA, where that runs a northeast to southwest route. And we'll continue. Let's zoom out some now, because now we need to make a plan on what cities need to have 45. Okay, I think this is where I messed up last time, because I want 45 to get close to Decatur, but because Decatur is due west of where we came off the highway at, I don't want 45 is not going to be able to go exactly to Decatur. So what we're going to do is we're going to backtrack some and let the road run due west for a little bit, but it's not actually going to get to Decatur. So we're just running due west. Let's see. Due west through the rural area of Texas and zoom back in. What did I do? My bad. Me malo. Zoom in. So there'll probably be an exit at Texas 51 right here for, Decatur. It'll probably be like next 3 exits, Decatur. And we'll continue on. Probably be an exit at that small road and the exit here at this intersection with these roads right here. Now we're going to turn back in that northwesterly trajectory following 287. 287 is going to be our friend for a very long time. So we're going northwesterly. Now we're coming up on the city of Alvord. And what we're about to do is connect with 287 just north of Alvord. Boom. And we're going to follow 287 all the way to Amarillo, which is about 300 miles. So most of this will follow this 287 routing. Most of 287, or not most, but a lot of 287 looks to be grade separated anyways. And it's a rural road, and there's really nothing out here except for, small farming communities. So we won't actually have to worry about going off the 287. There is a few times I'm gonna pull the 45 road, the future fantasy 45 off the 287, just because I don't want it to go through those cities. I was originally going through doing this. I was like, okay, do we really build through cities anymore? And the answer is no. Highways really aren't built through cities anymore, just because of all of the issues that they cause with communities. So they don't really build, massive interstate highways through cities. They'll build around cities. I know a lot of cities are going through the process of removing inner city freeways because they do create a lot of barriers for people of colors and other minorities, and they create walls, not real walls, but they do create walls like train tracks do, where you can separate. And as you know, it's us as humans, we like to separate. It's not always a good thing, but yeah. So I think now we're getting close to Wichita Falls. So now Wichita Falls is a major city in this part of Texas. You see how big it is? It's a pretty big city. It's not humongous, not one of the Texas massive cities, million plus population, but it is a pretty big city. So, like I was just saying, we are going to bypass Wichita Falls. So at this point on 287, we'll allow 287 to go into the city or even create a spur route for Wichita Falls. But the parent 45 is going to leave this road. We'll meet back up with our friend 287 in a minute. And we're going to navigate our way through the suburbs of Wichita Falls. Don't want to cross the river but once. So we cross the Wichita River right here one time, and we're going to meet back up with 287 up here. And that also gives the highway a connection to Sheffer Air Force Base, which is great for the Department of Defense because that gives them a direct route to one of the largest cities in America, Dallas Fort Worth. So we're going to do this, and it's going to be awkward because it's going to actually turn south even though it's going north, connect back with this 325 road just to get back onto 287, connection with 44. 44 will continue into Wichita Falls. When I first did this, I was actually going to do it to go straight through Wichita Falls, go through downtown, but it's a really pretty the way they got the road set up in Wichita Falls is really pretty, and I wouldn't want to mess that up. So I figured it would be smarter just to go on the outskirts north of Wichita Falls to give some type of like a bypass to bypass the whole city as well. Um, so yeah, so 44 is going to bypass Wichita Falls to the north and gives it a small kind of loop dealio. And it gives people who are coming from this part, northern parts of this, they can bypass the city of Wichita Falls, take 45 around the city, or choose to stay on 44 to go into downtown Wichita Falls. But now we're going to continue on this northwest trajectory. Our next major city is Amarillo, and we still have a very long drive to Amarillo. Let's see, how far is Amarillo from Wichita Falls? Amarillo to Wichita Falls. It's still 225 miles between the two cities, so that's what. Oh, why is it doing that? Oh, because I got two fingers on the mouse. That's still 220. What, a 5 hour drive? So yeah, still a very long drive, and there's absolutely nothing out here. But we're going to continue to follow Highway 287 all the way north past the little community of, or it's probably a city of Electra, Texas. 287 already bypasses it, so that was well worth it. We'll just plow through Harold. Sorry, Harold. Right here, Oakland Union already has a bypass, so we'll use that bypass, make it interstate standards through the city of Vernon. This is all highway already, so we'll just make sure we upgrade that to highway through Vernon. Yeah, through Vernon. I don't think Vernon was one of the cities I did want to bypass. And we'll just continue on Highway 287. Okay, Chillicothe. I don't think, yeah. Yeah, Chillicothe was one of the cities I wanted to bypass as well. So we're gonna jump off of 287 and we're gonna bypass the roads, go around town. I know how 85 does Spartanburg in South Carolina. Business 85 goes straight through the city. It's still a highway, but it's a business road, and then Interstate 85 goes north of the city. Okay, this was another one I want to bypass because I don't want to go straight through the city. So we're gonna get off of 287, and this time we're gonna go south of Quanah. And those are all these 287s will probably just turn into business roads for the highway. And keep going on 287. Hey, cat, don't do that. Don't do that, cat. All right, and then we're gonna go through the little community of Goodlet. And just keep going, just keep going. Little community doesn't even have a name. Going through all this prairie. Okay, Childress was another city that we're going to bypass because it's a kind of sizable city. So we're going to get off actually pretty early of Childress, and we're going to bypass it far to the north. We don't want to destroy your town or nothing like that. So we're back on 287. Think we're starting to get close to Amarillo. Esteline. We'll probably have to bypass you. Probably not. Probably not. I don't know. I didn't look at Esteline. I don't even remember seeing her when did this the first time. So we're gonna stay on 287. We're still heading to Amarillo, or as my Spanish friends like to say, Amarillo. And we're staying on 287. Okay. Memphis is another city that we're gonna bypass. We're gonna bypass it to the east, because that makes the most sense. Back on 287. I'm not even on the road. So plow through Headley. Have a long way to go. This is not a short highway. So let's continue on. Lila Lake. Okay, so Clarendon is going to come up, and I'm actually going to bypass this to the south since most of the city is south of 287. So that gives more people access to the roads, and there looks like there's more farms to the north. So we don't want to destroy. Hey, I say that now, and then I get north of Amarillo. We don't want to destroy too many farms, so get back on the 287. I think that's the last city that we're bypassing before we get to Amarillo. I think. Don't quote me though. So pretty. Yeah. Because we're at Good Night, and I remember Good Night being relatively close to Amarillo. Highway 287. Follow it, follow it, follow it. Okay. Oh no, we got to bypass Claude. So I'm actually doing the opposite of what I did in Clarendon, and I'm bypassing it to the north because to the south would just be too dramatic of a turn for me. And Clarendon was sizable. This city's not. Okay, bypass Claude. We're back on. Okay, yeah, 40. So we're in Amarillo now. Sorry about that. I talk way too much. So, Berkey. So now we're at 40. We are going to multiplex with 40 for a mile or two. And then 45 is going to take a sharp turn. So what I really wanted to do originally is have 45 take a sharp turn north through downtown Amarillo because I thought there was a highway in downtown Amarillo, but there's not. It's just beautiful road pattern like Wichita, Kansas. So I don't want to mess that up. If there was already a highway, then I would have routed 45 onto that highway, but there's not already a highway. And I didn't want to mess up, don't want to mess up a city's escape. So it's going to go 335 north, which gets it close to the airport. And it's just going to go due north. 335 is going to turn and go west because it's the loop around Amarillo. 45 is going to continue due north. So this is where now I zoom out because now we're really finna go into the middle of nowhere. So my goal is now at this point, I need to get 45. There's a lake community right in this area. So I need this road to go southeast of this lake community. And then I need the road to also go between the city of Guyman, Oklahoma, and I think it's Goodwin, Oklahoma, where the Panhandle University is, and Guyman's the biggest city. So I want 45 to go between both of those, just for to give the big city 11,000 people, big city access to the interstate system as well as the university. So that's our goal now since we've gotten to Amarillo. So so let's see. So we're gonna turn back a little bit. I know people probably don't like this, but we're gonna go through the communities, between the communities of Fritz Burger and Sanford. This looks like a big recreational area over here in this part of Texas, Lake Meredith. So, highway access to these communities, because this was a sizable community. This looks to be a pretty big, sizable community. I didn't look at this, but cross the river. I didn't even see the name of this river. So, boom, did all that. At first, I wanted to put the road on the damn road, but nah, we're good. And then we're just going to continue due north because there's really no communities. We're just destroying all these farms. But, you know, progress. And at this point right here, we're leaving Texas and going into Oklahoma. I do want to give the measurements of what this extension is. 456 miles, which I think to Dallas, from Dallas to Galveston is like 270. So 456 plus 270 is what number? 726. So I don't know if this is longer than I-10. I-10 in Texas. I-10 in Texas is it's 880 miles. So yeah, it is shorter Then I-10, but only by about 100 miles. So, wow. So getting back to this, we're gonna continue due north because we want to go. Remember between Guyman and Goodwell. This is where the university is in Goodwell, and Guyman's the big city of 11,000 people. But we need to give them interstate access. All these farms can get to the big communities: Amarillo, Wichita Falls, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Galveston, the of Houston, port of Galveston. So we go through the Oklahoma Panhandle through. Actually, this is Texas County, Oklahoma. So do we technically leave Texas when we're in the Panhandle? No. So we're gonna continue straight. I don't know why I put that curve in there like that. It's just because I can. Okay. So now we're in Southwest Kansas. There is nothing. There's no big cities of note out here. I think Elkhart is not that big. Yeah, it's not that big. Rolla is not that big. So really don't have any cities to hit. It's more about positioning. So we don't end up in we want to end in the southern part of Colorado Springs. So we have all of this of Colorado to we have all of this in Colorado to put the interstate in. In Colorado, I kind of want to get the interstate to hit this area right here. This looks to be a pretty populated area right here. Lamar, let's see. Oh, well, the actual city of Lamar is not that big. Hmm. Outside of Lamar, there's really nothing else in this part of eastern Colorado. This is just plains out here. Not a lot of mountains. It's not that hilly. It's actually pretty flat. So we can really build anywhere. So let's stay in Kansas for a little bit. And they better not toll this road either, the Kansas government, because they like to toll their interstates. And I'm not a fan of that, Mr. Kansas. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and I think this is slightly different than the original one I did. Um, but yeah, so we still hit these communities over here. They now have access to the internet, the interstate system using US 50. So we're going to continue one through this desolate area. So there's 70. Okay, so I came up too far north. So now we're going to change to a more due west. Yeah, because I was south of Truckton. So we're going to come in. So my goal is to get onto this road right here. And it'll also connect with the airport. And boom. So we're in the final stretches because we made it to Colorado Springs. And boom, boom. Connect with I-25 in Colorado Springs. And I could end it there, but I'm going to push it all the way to Colorado 115, right at the base of Cheyenne Mountain. I love Cheyenne Mountain. The Cheyenne Mountain Zoo was the first zoo that I went to in Colorado because I've been to both Cheyenne Mountain and Denver. and it was amazing. The leopards were staring at my brother at the zoo as he walked past. But that's the extension 445. So let's go ahead and close out the new path in Google Earth. So it saves it. And let's zoom out to see what it looks like. Wow, amazing. Let's see. You can't say that's not amazing. So Dallas is down here under Google Earth. Goes boom, boom, boom. Naturally 44 ends at 45. Sorry, had a yawn. And I'm so proud of my work. And then it goes to Amarillo. So that gives DFW and Amarillo a direct connection via the interstate system. And I think that actually technically connects all the major cities of Texas because Wichita Falls is also connected up here. Let's see how big Wichita Falls is. Probably 100,000 in Texas. Wichita Falls, Texas. 104,000. Sorry, 104,000 people in Wichita Falls. Oh, yeah, that's a sizable city. In almost any other state, that would be a major top 10 city. 104,000 people. And the metro area for Wichita Falls includes 151,000 people. So 151,000 people almost at the Oklahoma border. Definitely needed a better interstate connection. I know I keep saying internet, but better interstate connection. So then you got Amarillo. Then you connect to the largest city in the Texas Panhandle at Guyman, as well as where Panhandle State University is down here. I can't remember for the life of me the name of that damn city. um, and finally, then we traverse our way through eastern Colorado's plains or plateau. I don't know if it's a plateau or plains to get to Colorado Springs, which adds another east-west interstate in um, in Colorado. So now they have three. 70, and I don't know which one this is. It goes through Lincoln. So, and that gives that indirect connection from Denver to Houston. I know that's a massively long drive. It's probably a 3-day drive for a truck, but it does give you that indirect connection instead of having to go through from Denver down the Raton Pass, then snake your way to Amarillo, then snake your way to Fort Worth, then get on 45. It's a terrible drive for trucks. But hey, that is it. That is my I-45 extension from Dallas Fort Worth area to Colorado Springs, Colorado. I think I'm going to be doing more of these videos. A lot, most other videos I probably do will be short stub videos because there's a lot of stubs. But I think the next one I want to do is probably a I like 70 something. No, it would have to be but it would have to be between 65 and 85 or it would have to be between 65 and 75. Can't do 77. Can I do 67? I don't know. I have to think about it. But I'm gonna let you guys go. I've been on here for 40 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff for me. And with that, you guys have a great day.